Welcome back, my friends, to the Predictive Playbook. I'm your host, John Ryan. This is a Major League Baseball quick hitting show, and we're going to talk about the Phillies, who are traveling up to the Bronx to take on the Yankees in a two-game set, which is a sandwich series of two games between Boston for the Yankees. In other words, they just got done taking 2 of 3 from Boston. You may remember that Thursday they had their game canceled because of COVID situations on the Yankees roster, including Aaron Judge and others. And after this two-game set, they have to go to Fenway and take on Boston for 3 more games. So it is a very interesting time for the Yankees right now. They basically need to win 4 of the next 5. As you'll see, I don't think they're going to win tonight, and that makes it even more difficult, especially if Boston starts bouncing back after having lost 4 or 5 for only the second time this season. Their losing streaks have been very short-lived, and they're followed by some really excellent baseball. So you might want to take a look at Boston as well as a possible bet here within the next week in their games that they're going to be playing. So in this betting system, we have a matchup here where the hottest team in the National League right now is the Philadelphia Phillies, 10-4 over the last 14 games. They have won the last 4 series in a row, and I honestly would not be surprised if they won both of these games, even though it's in the Bronx. We have Aaron Nola, who is really a tough luck pitcher. Right? A lot of media is suggesting that there's something wrong with him. He's not consistent. And yes, recently he has had some erratic starts, where he actually pitched a gem against the Yankees on June 13th, going 7 2/3 innings, allowing 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts against the very aggressive hitting New York Yankees, who rank in the bottom 10 of Major League Baseball in strikeout rate and expected batting average, for example. They just do not get runners that are on base to touch home plate, and it's been an epidemic for them for several months now, since the middle of May, and I think they're going to continue to struggle. They're very, very aggressive at the plate. Aaron Nola has one of the best swing and miss rates on his curveball in the last 10 years. Only Clayton Kershaw, who we know has a famous, legendary curveball that he throws in different angles and 12-6 movements, much like Aaron Nola has started to do as well. So I think we're going to see more of the same from Aaron Nola tonight against this Yankees team that is not patient at the plate. And when your team is not patient at the plate, it's nearly impossible to slow that down and take strike one, because what's Nola going to do? He's going to throw first pitch strike. And by the way, that's one of my emails at iCloud.com. First pitch strike, one of my favorite baseball terms of all time. And there is no better pitch in baseball than strike one. And the reason that is that even for the greatest hitters in the league, their batting average after 0-1 drops anywhere between 55 and 75 basis points. So you take a 300 hitter, throw strike one, and now he's a 225 hitter. So the Yankees are really in a tough spot. They can't stand there and take first pitch, because Nola's just going to pepper that plate every single time. I would expect him to have a very high first pitch strike rate tonight, along the lines of 20 out of 24, for example, and that will definitely put the Yankees in a bit of a trouble to connect hits together to get runners on base and have RBI opportunities. So the Phillies offense is now coming together. They're starting to really play well. They're actually hitting behind runners now, and it just seems like they have a new breath of life on the team. They're only 2.5 games behind the Mets, who are now without DeGrom. And who's to say they can't win the division? And that will be talked about later today on Manny's Irish Pub. It starts at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday, and includes my co-hosts, Tony Finn and Rob Vino of Wager Talk, and then many others. Tony Mejia will be joining us today, possibly Steve Merrill. I will be having a show on Bitcoin starting a little bit after 2:30 today, going over the Bitcoin markets and the S&P 500, which Steve and I have done now for about the last 2 months. So I encourage you to watch that show as well. And as you can see, before I show the system, I don't want to forget this. You can get tonight's NBA best bet. It's a 4-unit play. It includes a 4-unit total as well for just $6 over at sportsmemo.com right now. And you would just simply go to sportsmemo.com and hit experts in the navigation bar, look for me, click that, and you'll see this special deal. Or the easier way is to type in your browser sm as in sportsmemo.buzz/jr. That will take you to the profile. You use the promo code that is featured in what is scrolling on the bottom here. That is using the viewer only promo code daily, the $5. So daily $5. And only you people that are supporting these shows today are given this opportunity. So take advantage of it. It's not a widely publicized deal. I want you guys to be rewarded to get on the picks. After all, I've hit 67% the last 4 NBA playoff seasons. Our totals have been, scorching hot, and here's some of my hot streaks. 71.4 the last 14, 75% 3-1. Major League Baseball 5-unit best bets, and on we go. Football season is coming up as well. We're going to have a really good deal for that. I was number 1 last year, hitting 65.8% against the spread in the NFL. Ripped off 83% winners. I kid you not, 83% winners against the spread over the last 21 NFL releases, and 73% over the last 35 college football and NFL plays together in a combined manner. So we're going to put together some great opportunities for everybody to get on board for this upcoming NFL and college football season, which I cannot wait. I've been working very hard already for the past 6 weeks on the NFL and college football. I'm going to start doing more shows on those two sports, so you can look forward to those as well. But for today, do me a favor, do us a favor. It's a win-win situation here. You're getting $5 off an $11 cost play, which is already reduced from $20, but I want you guys to benefit, so take advantage of it. And let's see what happens tonight in Game 6. So the betting system here, and I think we have a comment here from Alex Vale. Yeah, good morning, Alex. Actually, here in the East Coast, we're just a little bit after lunchtime, and that's about 1:15, so all is good. So thank you, Alex. Big shout out to him. He was one of my first, I think he was one of the first 50 followers I ever had, which I started a couple years ago, right before the pandemic, unfortunately. So it's been like a year and a half since I started this Twitter feed and providing the information like I have. And I'm grateful that I'm coming up on 3,500. And it's hard to remember 3,500, but I always remember Alex. He was so supportive in the very beginning when it was very, very tough to even get people to get 3 likes on a show or 3 likes on a tweet, and Alex was one of the guys that helped make that happen. So there's a group of those guys that I will never forget. No matter where this ends, if we get 10,000, that's great. If we get to 20, I'm just very happy I'm providing some information that people obviously like, or they wouldn't be following. I guess that's how I'm looking at it. But big shout out to Alex again. So here's our betting angle. We're going to bet the run line with a team facing an opponent that they have already defeated in the past 2 matchups. Phillies have won the last 2 against the Yankees. And as I said, to reiterate, Noah threw 7 2/3 innings of 3-hit baseball, no earned runs, 9 Ks against the Yankees. And that curveball, when he stays on top of it, and I can explain what that means at the 4 o'clock show with Manny's Irish Pub Bet. I'll actually have a baseball in my hand, and I can show you actually what that is. Hey, Max on record. Hey, there he is in the chat room too, man. Of course you're great. And I love all the comments about Meathead. And this afternoon in Manny's Irish Pub, I want you to put in a word on why you nicknamed him Meathead, because I think that is a kind of a popular name among the people who are not too fond of him. And I'll mention that later. This is a Major League Baseball show, but the fact that he called out his manufacturer because of his poor play, especially with the driver, the first 2 days was beyond reason. And I actually was glad that the manufacturer lashed back at him. And I always say it's not the driver, it's not the car, it's the driver. It's not the bowling ball, it's the thrower. It's not the equipment. I've never in my life blamed a poor performance in golf because of my irons or my putter. I've had 3 putters my entire life, and I've played golf for over 40 years. And guys change putters, once every week, some of them, and I don't see the point. You got to get the stroke down, fundamentals down, and then you can play. So anyway, Max on record. Thanks for distracting me there a little bit. That was good. That's a good distraction. So back to the betting system here. We're going to bet on teams that have winning records that are facing each other, and the one team, this being the Phillies, has won at least the last 2 matchups against the opponent. So that's gone 50 and 25 for, that's supposed to say 67% winning bets over the last 5 seasons. The $100 bettor has made a $2,755 profit and a terrific 52% ROI. And for his career, Nola's team record is 24 and 10 against teams that average no more than 2.75 extra base hits per game. This all adds up to a significant play on the Phillies using the -1.5 run line and getting a return of +125 VIG. So we're taking our road team. I know Tony Finn of Wager Talk this afternoon will love this betting system because he never takes a -1.5 run line play on a home team. And you can join us to find out more about that, because that is a very good piece of advice once you hear the reasons why. This is a road slight favorite, and now we're doing -1.5, getting +125. I love it, and I hope you do too. So thanks, guys, for coming into the show. I appreciate all the support. Max on record, Alex Vail. We'll see you both at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Manny's Irish Pub. But before that, I'm going to have Steve Merrill on at about 2:40. I will start the show about 2:35 Eastern Standard Time to talk about the current Bitcoin market and our trading ideas. I was a trader on Wall Street for more than 2 decades, and there's a lot of similarities between sports betting and the financial markets. And that's the whole purpose of the show, is that we're trying to connect the two and show how similar the two are, especially with metrics that are related to sentiment. You get too many bulls, the market corrects. You get too many people betting the same team, what happens? That other team shocks the world and wins outright. And, we see that in the NFL quite a bit. It's not a reason to bet a game by itself, but it is part of my arsenal of tools that I use. And thanks to Twitter, I can go through 2,500 tweets and record and retrieve, scrape, whatever you want to call it, the actual tweets, and then using stop words, which is a package that I received from MIT. There's 10,000 stop words that are of potential use when doing a sentiment program in Python. So it's pretty exciting stuff. I'm going to actually show the Python tool on the 4 o'clock show for tonight's Game 6 and see where the betting community lies with that type of betting flow for tonight's game. So again, thanks guys for being in the chat room. Max on record is bringing pints, he says here in the chat room, which he's my best friend right now. But I'm known as Two Beer Johnny, so take that for a grain of salt, I guess. I'd like to think I can handle my my alcohol pretty well, but there's a reason why they call me Two Beer Johnny at the club. And quite honestly, it's because I don't ever want to have to face a cop pulling me over and I'm 1/10 over the legal limit. It just scares the daylights out of me. But anyway, take that advice too. There's nothing worse than getting some kind of situation like that. It's just nothing in the world is worth that. So on behalf of wagertalk.com, sportsmemo.com, the chat room especially here, we're getting them riled up. And Predictive Playbook. May all the wins be yours.